It is time for the long-range forecast for Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, and specifically what the film is expected to make in its opening weekend in the United States, aka domestically. So let's talk about these numbers and what they mean. So Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, the long-awaited, much-anticipated sequel to Volume 2, which earned $145 million in its opening weekend, has a lot to live up to. And there's a couple things we could look at here in regards to how it might do. First and foremost, they've been gone long enough that a lot of people miss them, which I think always gives you that we miss these characters, we miss spending time with them, and we want to see what happens. There's also the fact that it's the third entry of a beloved franchise, and also something picking up leftovers still from Endgame and telling a cohesive 3-arc story across a trilogy. So there's a lot here. So it's not surprising that when we look at the long-range forecast, we're seeing pretty good numbers. In the low end, we are seeing around 110 million. In the highest of the high ends, 150. Now you're probably saying, okay, 40 million, right? What gives? Well, that's the thing. The long-range forecast is always the two extremes. We don't have any singular outlet out there putting forth what they think it will ultimately make. This is just a broad sort of stroke. Here's the low end, here's the high end, and more than likely, most expectations will come in somewhere in the medium. Won't be surprised if it's a little on the higher end, around 45 to 50, but I think there's still a lot of questions that we have to look at in regards to this film, how hyped the marketing is, and how exactly is the film received, which we have seen can cause a significant downfall in numbers these days as people are affected by critics and by reviews and Rotten Tomatoes. So I won't be surprised if that does affect it, but I honestly don't think it has much of a cause and effect on the opening weekend as much as it will have on the second and third and fourth weekend, which we've seen across the board with every comic book film since Spider-Man No Way Home, all have that same cause and effect. So again, we're talking 110 to 150 million, somewhere in there, probably, like 100%. I'm gonna guess that most will come in at 140, with 150 being the absolute highest that somebody's gonna say. If it performs slightly over 140, great. Over 150, blowing away all expectations. Under 110, it'll be seen as a flop.